Hello YouTube and welcome to the conclusion of the Zenjoltis weekend here. Race number 33 of season number 4 of the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. And race number 1 of the round of 8 brings us to this very fast super speedway. And after practice slash qualifying, it was Gene Sanford who would end up on the pole position because Mason Powers, who qualified on pole, ended up having to go to the rear of the field with a backup car. So Gene Sanford will inherit the pole. Mason Powers still gets credit to going to the Bud Shootout next season. Gene will now start alongside William Duncan, who would have actually qualified second anyway, so he was supposed to be there. Jake Baskinger and Dylan Casella, row 2. Mary Shelley, the first of our chasers, in row number 3 alongside Jonathan Zorline. Daniel Day and Troy King in row 4, with Jay Stella and Hiroshi Kazuyoshi in row number 5. Here's the rest of your starting grid for the Zenjoltis race here today. Levi McIntyre comes in as the points leader, with the only driver being at 7,030 points. Basically the only driver with 2 wins this season. Amy Shelley, Chris Washer, Henry Powers, Mary Shelley, and Eric Enrage all had 1 win. They're tied for second. And the bottom 2 with 0 wins so far this season, Dylan Young and Tom Shelley, looking to point their way in with consistency.
Drivers, start your engines!
Command has been given. There you see the final row. A lot of the guys back there, the 5 different cars had to go to the rear of the field with backup cars. And our 8 onboards today will be the chasers, should we need them. We'll start with the points leader, Levi McIntyre, carrying the Office Depot onboard. Amy Shelley will be carrying the Dodge onboard camera. Chris Washer, the Kellogg's onboard camera. Henry Powers, the Ford onboard camera. Mary Shelley, the Coke Vanilla onboard camera. Eric Enrage, the Goodwrench onboard camera. Dylan Young, the Chevy onboard camera. And Tom Shelley, the Coca-Cola onboard camera. So interesting, silly, while we wait for the green flag here, some interesting silly season notes, as I'm going to just get up here to the pace car, I guess, for right now. 4 different drivers in today's field signed their deal for next season, all being chasers. Mary Shelley has re-signed again for 1 more year with the 38 car here. Basically 1 more year at least in the what is almost seeming like a lifetime deal with that 38 car. Tom Shelley has re-signed with the 45 car again for next season, staying at Petty Enterprises. Going to try and field that fly that banner once again, and hopefully the 43 can run better next season. That's going to be what he's hoping for. Amy Shelley has transferred back to familiar colors for her. She will be driving the number 12 for Penske Racing next season. And finally, Levi McIntyre re-signed to with the 99 car. They will be back next season. So we'll have a lot of familiar faces or we'll not have so many familiar faces in new places, it looks like, next season, at least right now through the silly season. Either way, not important. The green flag is out for 30 laps here at Zenjoltis. A not so great restart, or not so great start there for Mary Shelley. Dylan Casella is going to be able to go from 4th back down to the inside line for turn 1. Maybe playing there from the 2 Fords. I don't know. I wouldn't throw it out there. That wouldn't be too bad of an idea, actually. Either way, Gene Sanford, Jake Baskinger from the first 2 rows were able to get the lead. Never mind, Dylan Casella goes for 2nd from 4th starting spot. And Hiroshi Kazuyoshi from 9th is actually making a bold move, is already up to 4th. And I saw Amy Shelley decided to go to the far outside line. That maybe not where you really want to be if you're a chaser early on. Dylan Casella to the lead. I see a lot of red in the middle of the pack. As Kazuyoshi now to 2nd. Jean Sanford going to be able to fall down to 3rd should she choose to. And if not, Kyle Matthews going to fill that gap. And Kyle Matthews does fill that hole. And so Dylan Casella will lead lap 1, grabs the 5 bonus points. And now here comes that other Roush car, the one that really matters for this team. Basically the only one top 30 in the owner's points. Levi McIntyre inside the top 5 now already. As the field just... you never get used to it. As Hiroshi Kazuyoshi going for the lead. Baskinger up on the extreme outside line. And we're going to be... well, I was going to say we might be 4 wide for the lead. No, it'll be 4 wide for 2nd. And the big benefactor is going to be Levi McIntyre. Well, maybe not. Here comes the 2 Yates cars now. Roush versus Yates, as it's Mary Shelley and Eric Powers going for the lead against Levi McIntyre and Dylan Casella. And here comes the guy who was supposed to be the pole sitter, Mason Powers, already up into the top 5 on lap number 2 as he's going to help the Yates cars. Now it's going to be 3 wide for 3rd as Mason Powers like, nope, I'm just going to go here and shove the 2 chasers out. As Eric Powers led the lap, he's now out in front. And here comes Alex Perkle on the inside line now. Uh-oh, DJ. I don't like how that's looking. They're sideways in the wrecking. Alex Casella's in it. Big wreck. Henry Powers is in it, one of the chasers. Casella got hit again. Troy King is in it. Lot of damage to the 90. Jessica Shelton's in it. DJ Curtis. Gene Sanford. Powers got hit again. Preston Plord. Tom Shelley's in it. Eric Enrage is in it. We're going to go back and we'll look at who's involved a little bit better once we can. Meanwhile, battle to the line between Mason Powers and Eric Powers. The 2 Powers siblings, I guess, battling it out, and it'll be Eric Powers leading under the caution. So from 42nd to 2nd in just 3 laps for Mason Powers. Amy Shelley was ahead of it. Levi McIntyre and Mary Shelley are good to go. Chris Washer is still up here. He's fine. Dylan Young looks to have gone through it or been ahead of it or whatever. I don't know. 15th place for him. Now looks like these will be the cars that we have to look at for the damage. Dylan Thoreau's car looks okay. Maybe slight front end damage. Allie Nelson was involved. Hard to tell. Mason Neal. Momo Akari does have damage. Henry Sanford, you see the nose damage. Sky Commons looks to have been okay. Oh, Sam Curtis does have damage there. You can see the nose. Kyle Matthews was involved. Ben Neuwirth was involved. Troy King I saw around. Eric Enrage looked to have been involved. Jackson, Gene Sanford, Steve Pollard, DJ Curtis. Robert Pollard was spinning. Casella was around. Henry Powers, Jessica Shelton, Tom Shelley. Tom Shelley is out. Preston Plord, Daniel Day is smoking. His car is going to be done for the day. So we've already got 1 casualty among chasers and possibly a 2nd in the form of Henry Powers. So that's going to be huge. Let's go ahead and take a look back at what happened to bring out the yellow. And we're back. Here's what happened. You see the staggered 5 wide, and the problem, not necessarily the 5 wide. We saw it work in trucks as well. It's where you see the 14 and the 30. They are really close to each other. They're going to end up making contact here. And they're going to shove up right into Momo Akari, who then comes up into Henry Sanford. Jessica Shelton getting turned. Nothing Henry or Jess could have done there. Preston Plord gets turned around and all of it. Casella just gets collected. Daniel Day gets turned. Jeff James does get damaged in the 00. Watch DJ Curtis get spun around here. Steve Pollard's in it. Sky Commons gets sent to the infield, so he's probably got a little bit of it. Preston Plord trying to get strained out, gets turned right into William Duncan by Ben Newworth. Let's go back and look. Let's look at what sent Robert Pollard to the inside of the track. Well, Steve Pollard gets sent down into the 72. Looks like Allie Nelson gets sent down into the 29 of Eric and Rage. Oh, there you see Henry Powers. He gets sent up and then gets turned off the nose of the 9. Sky Commons, there you see him down in the infield. It's really what happened there to them. Now, what did Powers end up hitting? Is going to be my question. Oh, right into Preston Plord. Oh, we had some chasers around this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they saw going through it with our onboards. Tom Shelley clearly had a feeling about something. He was hanging out at the back of the pack. Wow. Henry Powers also tried to get out of a spot where he wasn't feeling comfortable, tried to get to the back. Final onboard we'll take is that of Eric and Rage. See Dylan Young right in front of him. And there you go. And we are back. Several drivers out of the race after that, but we'll get to that in a moment. Eric Powers is the leader over Mason Powers, Alex Perkle, Kyle Collins, Amy Shelley, the top chaser, in 5th, Mary Shelley 6th, Hiroshi Kazuyoshi 7th, Levi McIntyre in 8th, Brandon Patterson in 9th, and Chris Washer in 10th. Running position of other chase cars, Dylan Young is in 15th. Eric and Rage is 28th. And Troy King, who's in the owner's fight still, is in 33rd. Actually, where's the 33 running as well? I didn't mention that one. They're 14th. That's another one of the cars still fighting out for the owner's title. Cars out of the race, though. Kyle Matthews, Steve Pollard, DJ Curtis, William Duncan, Tom Shelley with a radiator issue. Preston Plord was unable to put fuel back in it because the fuel was leaking. Or they discovered a fuel leak. Daniel Day in 40th, Jessica Shelton, and Henry Powers, the big name there, in 42nd. So not a good start to the round of 8 for Tom Shelley or Henry Powers. Shelley especially because he came in already 15 points back of anyone else. So not a good sign for them. A lot of these cars back here are going to be damaged off the pace. One thing I will say while I have the chance here, I mentioned in qualifying that I didn't have the winless streaks up to date. That was actually a misstatement. I wasn't looking at it, and turns out I did have them up to date. So Jean Sanford's 119 race winless streak looks like it will reach 120 races here today. Her last win, season 1 at Indianapolis. So figure I mentioned that because Pollard says I mention it every week. Either way, it looks like field's coming through turn number 4 now. It's what looks to be. Yes, it is. Okay. So the pace car will pull off momentarily here. Should have started that a little bit later than what I did for restarting the camera. Pace car makes the move to the left-hand side of the track. And the green flag is back out on lap number 7. As Kyle Collins quick to make the move, as is the 99 of Levi McIntyre. And that's going to put Mary Shelley up on the outside line, as well as Amy Shelley. That might have been the strategy on their part. I don't know. McIntyre tried to move up in front of his teammate, but Patterson was there. Patterson from 9th with a good restart there. Gets ahead of the 99 and falls back into line behind the 32. As it looks like Eric Power is going to have one of those cars that's going to be hard to pass. We've seen it all weekend where the leader's been extraordinarily difficult to get around, but not impossible to get around. As Powers leaves open the inside line, here comes Brennan Patterson. The USG Sheetrock Ford has had a pretty terrible season. Not able to get there yet. Powers closes the door, but not entirely. A little bit of frame drop there. Powers leads at the stripe. Let's take a look at, while they're battling, let's take a look at the back of the field and see who's out the pace. Axel Casella, Henry Sanford, Ben Newworth, and Momo Akari fighting it out. Let's see who wins out of that battle. Gene Sanford is off the pace, but has friends, Robert Pollard and Troy King. Looks like Zorline's off the pace. Didn't see what he got into out of that wreck. Sorry. Eric and Rage, Sam Curtis, Mason Neal. And Sky Commons, Allie Nelson are at least in that pack. Well, then again, actually Zorline back there. Not these four right here aren't terribly far out of the pack anyway. Battle for the top spot as it's Dylan Casella, one of the Go Home cars, battling it out. The 06 going to not going to be run from Roush next season. It's going to be a Penske effort in that 06 car next year. So totally new team. They're not going to be getting the 06 points anyway. So as they're already 5 wide again in the pack as Brennan Patterson starts to peek out for the lead. Sky Common starting to fall off the tail of the field maybe. Same for possibly Charles Jackson. As Dylan Thoreau and Jake Baskinger getting close. Stephen Paul III looking to maybe fill that hole opened by Dylan Thoreau. Actually, Thoreau gets the run. Oh, a little bit of contact between the 18 and the 1 as they went off into turn number 2. As Dylan Casella to the top spot. Allie Nelson trying to extend her lead over 31st in points right now with that 22 car. As Dylan Thoreau is in the middle. Jeff James putting in a good run with the unsponsored 00 car. As here comes Pollard now looking to his inside, trying to punch a ticket to the to Talladega for that car for owner's points. As it's now a Roush 1, 2, 3 at Zen Joltis, led by Dylan Casella, then Levi McIntyre and Brennan Patterson, the top three. How much do those guys work together? Patterson trying to gain ground on the 22 if possible. Casella not much to fight for, just pretty much bragging rights. I wouldn't be surprised to see him move over for the 99 and the 17 at some point as Kyle Collins makes the move for third. It's been a terrible chase for this PPI Motorsports crew. Now up to third, breaking up the Roush party. Never thought I'd be able to say that this season the way they've run. Collins now makes the move on McIntyre for second. Basically doing this on his own. That's the impressive part. Collins just got a really good run. Now here comes Patterson, and Collins throws the block in the 17 and goes to the lead now at Zen Joltis. Jeff James threw his nose in there on the 99, now going for fourth. New leader at Zen Joltis, it's the Tide Chevrolet. For PPI Motorsports, Kyle Collins leads at Zen Joltis now. Bram Patterson to second, Dylan Casella third. Here comes Mason Powers, the other Roush, another one of the Roush cars up here that hasn't run well all season. As Amy Shelley looks to go for a top running chaser, but Dylan Young throws his name into that book as well, as we're going to possibly have chasers 3 wide off turn number 2 here. Levi McIntyre, Amy Shelley, and Dylan Young. As the 3 Roush cars team up against the 32 now, Dylan Casella back to the lead with help from Mason Powers and Brennan Patterson. Roush looking strong today. Would not be surprised to see Levi McIntyre throw his name into the mix and get a win. As Dylan Young now is the top running chaser today. And Kazuyoshi looks to break up the Roush party again. Looking for second is the 59 car. Not going to get second. Will still get third as Alex Perkle goes inside of his own teammate there. Kind of surprised about that one. That one didn't seem like that thoughtful of a move there. Amy Shelley might take advantage of it in the 89 car. And yep, will. As top 2 are now single file. The battle is for third between Kazuyoshi and Powers. Kazuyoshi now clears, and Alex Perkle will fight with the 16. Amy Shelley's going to go for 5th. And that will allow that's for 4th, I mean. Kazuyoshi made a peek to the outside. And right now, if he wants to break up that Roush party up there at the front with the 1-2, going to have to kind of do it on his own. He makes the move on the 17, though. He's going to break him apart. As Patterson now not going to be able to get in line for third, Perkle fills the hole. And Alex Perkle now going to try and go for second, not going to be able to get there. Worth noting in this series, Chevy has already clinched the manufacturer's points before this weekend. Not sure when they did, but they did already. Chevy clinching the Hooters Series manufacturer's points yesterday with their win. As now Perkle goes for second. Amy Shelley stays up on the outside line right now. Charles Jackson's still in this pack as Sky Commons has lost this draft. So this is a 21 car lead pack. Sky Commons did fall back in line with these guys. So pack of 5 here that can run somewhat Actually up to speed there. 235 is a really good speed to get. You got these guys back there. Casella, the only one all on his own there. Meanwhile, back up front, Alex Perkle goes for second now on the 59 car. Patterson going to follow the 1 car through, trying to get back up front. Casella throws the block on Perkle. Perkle to the outside now. That hole's going to get filled up by Patterson really easily. Theo Stegall there in the 15 coming up to the front now. All 3 DEI cars up here. It's actually not really much of a shock at all. Of all things that have been a shock in this series, that's definitely not one of them. Levi McIntyre now coming back up here into the top 5 with the 99 car. Ford looking strong today as a whole. I'm not sure if anyone other than the Ford has actually led. As Patterson there, you see at the battle for second with Alex Perkle now. Dylan Casella still up front. Eric Powers following the 17 through on the inside line. Allie Nelson, despite the damage, is back up here in this lead pack. They did a great job fixing that car, in the top 10 right now for the 22. As Patterson, for the 3rd or 4th time today, makes it another Roush 1-2 as Jackson starts to fall off the tail of the field. See if Jackson can close back in a little bit. He's going slower. Henry Sanford makes a pit stop. So we might have a 20-car lead draft to fight it out for the win. He's trying all he can right now. That's about as fast as these cars can go. We'll have to follow that and see what happens there. Kyle Collins, meanwhile, has grabbed second, but that's under fight with Allie Nelson in the 22 car. Talked about in the D&Q race where Will Lewis, I mean. See what you got me doing, Steven? Will Lewis was trying to minimize the damage. They came into this race 31st in owners points and D&Q'd. Or was not fast enough to make the race at least. Nelson trying to make sure to maximize that, as anyone that was close to the 22 ended up not qualifying. As 4 wide for 3rd, here comes Ish Taylor, the 30 car. Followed close behind by Stephen Pollard III and Amy Shelley. As we're going to be 5 wide in the lead pack once again. As long as they don't lean up against each other, this should be fine. As I heard lap car. It's Axel Casella who's only going 2:13. The leader's going 2:30 plus. They're going to catch up to him this lap. It's just a matter of where do they catch him. Who's going to get affected? They're on the same straightaway now. Casella should be able to get around this easily. They're in the same corner now. You can see him in the same picture. As we're past halfway, Kyle Collins moving. We got pit stops. Kyle Collins is pitting. And there's a wreck. Kazuyoshi's around into the field. Dylan Young's in it. And on his lid is the 16 of Mason Powers. Pit stops, though, at Zenjoltis, Kyle Collins, Jake Baskinger, and Charles Jackson pit. And Dylan Young is stuck on the apron. Dylan Casella, Allie Nelson, Stephen Pollard III. That one actually shocked me. I was legitimately surprised that that happened. Great move, though, by the 9, and the 32 there to pit when they did. because they made it to the commitment cone on time. I believe the commitment cone's actually on that. The commitment cone to pit is on the front straightaway, I believe. And now the question's going to be, do these guys end up running out of fuel? As Dylan Casella leads underneath the caution. There you see, yeah, the commitment cone right there. So they did make it to the commitment cone in time. And now the question's going to be, who is going to be the leader? I believe it might end up being Kyle Collins out of all this. And do the leaders end up running out of fuel? Brennan Patterson with damage. Looks like the 30-ish Taylor has a little buckle. Jeff James with damage. This helps Eric and Rage. It's free spots. Hiroshi Kazuyoshi, unfortunately, just got turned. And there's Kyle Collins. Going to cross the line in 25th place, but is on the lead lap. As they have actually passed the pace car, so gonna have to wait on this. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look back at what happened, and then we will go ahead and show pit stops from Zenjoltis. Okay, we are back. We backed it up a little bit to before the line to try and figure out what happened to Hiroshi Kazuyoshi to get him turned around. Starts to go down into the corner, right down into Dylan Young. Mary Shelley actually gets a piece of this, the 38 car. Jeff James, Amy Shelley's involved, the 89, Brennan Patterson. Whoa, Mason Powers. Jeff James catching air, Brennan Patterson doing a wall ride. Wow. And Mason Powers then slides down on his roof and is going to get kind of hit by the 59 and does a nice little pirouette. With that, let's take one on board with the 8 of Dylan Young, see what happened there. On board Dylan Young. Realistically, just gets stuck in on the apron there. So with that, let's go ahead and show pit stops if they happened. And we're back. Here are the leaders coming down to pit. As you see, Dylan Casella, Ali Nelson, and company all down on pit lane here. I would expect that the 32, the 18, and the 9 would all stay out here. Axe Casella is a lap down. We'll have to pit the next time around. And Henry Sanford also stays out. That's actually not a surprise. He pit as well underneath the green. He is also a lap down. Well, let's watch us see what happens here on pit lane. Levi McIntyre going to be the first to get to his box. Some people already getting out of their pit boxes, it looks like. Dylan Casella is going to go to the right side. And it's going to be 2 tires up and down the pit lane. It looks like Dylan Casella is going to win the race off. Ali Nelson, Stephen Pollard third, Dylan Thoreau, and Alex Perkle looked at the top 5 as they were 3 wide off of the pit lane. And Gene Sanford murders the stop stick guy there. Either way, Alex Casella, Henry Sanford tail into the lead lap. And Kyle Collins, Jake Baskinger, and Charles Jackson inherit the race lead. So basically win as expected there. Let's go back to the green flag. And we are back. Mason Powers Dylan Young, Hiroshi Kazuyoshi, and Jeff James all retired as a result of the last incident. Henry Sanford, through pitch strategy, staying out, trying to be on the tail end lead lap and maybe catch a quick caution. Kyle Collins, though, is the race leader. Jake Bassinger is second. Charles Jackson third. They did not pit, or well, they pit underneath the green flag, basically, right when the caution came out. Dylan Casella is the leader. He was first off pit lane. Then Ali Nelson, Stephen Paul III, Dylan Thoreau, Alex Perkle, Levi McIntyre, and Theo Stegall round out the top 10. Amy Shelley runs in 11th. Jay Stella, Eric Powers, Chris Washer, another chaser in 14th. Eric Enrage through all of this is now in 15th. Sky Commons 16th. Mason Neal, Jonathan Zorline, Robert Pollard, and Sam Curtis the top 20. Troy Kang still in the owner's chase runs 21st. Momo Akari, Ben Neuwirth, Gene Sanford, Mary Shelley in 25th. Ish Taylor, Brendan Patterson, and Axel Casella the rest of the field. Casella is one lap down in 29th position. And again, I started this way too soon. Let's see, what can I talk about in here? Let's see. Trying to see if there was anyone that actually had a really long winless streak still going that I could recall. No one else, no. I know that there are some. Robert Pollard's probably been a while, I think. He hasn't won yet this season. A lot of guys actually who haven't won this season. Kyle Collins has won, but it's been a while. Charles Jackson just won last week, his 6th win of the season. Or of his, not of the season, 6th win of his career in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series, which actually tied him for the most all-time with Brendan Patterson at 6. Either way, pace car's off, and the green flag is back out with just 8 laps to go at Zen Joltis. How far up to speed is the 31 is going to be the question. And that kind of answers it. Kyle Collins to the outside of the 31. Can Jake Baskinger take advantage? Dylan Casella is certainly taking advantage of it. He's going to go to the inside of the 31, make it a pass for third as they are 4 wide, splitting the 31 car. It was a nice move and a nice gamble for the 31 team, but it didn't quite work. Casella now looking for second as Amy Shelley was almost in the wall. Alex Perkle peeking, trying to figure out where he wants to go with it. And decides to go to the outside line and help Jake Baskinger out. Well, never mind. Now decides to make it, try and make it 3 wide for second. That's not going to work. Dylan Casella on his own just made the pass for second. Just through getting a run and made the move on his own, basically through momentum. That is literally how he made that move. Dylan Casella now to second. Using momentum, is going to have to pit. Dylan Casella with a penalty in the 06. And he's way out there. This may not end well. 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 Oh. Now's the caution. That brings out the yellow. Yellow flag at Zen Joltis for Dylan Casella. And Kyle Collins now is still the leader. Jay Stella second. Chris Washer makes the move for third. Stella trying to make a move to the outside of Kyle Collins. Tide Chevrolet making pit strategy work to his advantage right now. Stella with the crossover after Collins blocked high. Here comes Chris Washer, low 3 wide for the top spot. We're somewhat in staggered green-white checkered. This could be interesting. This might either be a 2-lap shootout or I don't know what this might be, but Chris Washer leads under the caution at Zen Joltis. Whoa, Eric Enrage got bumped. And Eric Enrage, after getting spun and being out of the pack in one of the after the first wreck is now in this pack. So good job for them. As I'm going to be honest, there's no reason to really show that. We saw what happened. I'm not quite sure what the penalty was for, but Dylan Casella pulling off a rookie mistake and trying to serve that pit penalty, basically. That's all I can think of that being was the pit penalty. I'm not quite sure what he would have done there that caused that. Maybe a pass under the pass to the inside before the line. I don't know. It's about the only thing I could think of. Pace car picks up the race leader Chris Washer, and we're gonna have a shootout at Zen Joltis. Will it be a green-white checkered finish, or will it be maybe green-white checkered or one-lap shootout under green or under the normal race distance? This could be a double. I'm basically meaning single file or double file restart here is what I'm gonna say. Anyway, we'll bring you back for the restart. Dylan Casella is going to be out of the race after that incident. And we are back. 28 cars still running. And we are going to have a green-white checkered finish on our hands here. They'll get the green this time, the white next time, and then the checkered. It's not quite checkers or wreckers yet, though, because this isn't the green-white checkered where we run with no caution. Chris Washer is the leader and probably the sitting duck for this restart. Jay Stella in second, Alex Perkles third, Jake Baskinger fourth, Kyle Collins fifth, Stephen Pollard third in sixth, Dylan Thoreau in seventh, Levi McIntyre with one of the very strong Roush cars, basically, actually the only one that was left, eighth place, as Roush had such a good day. Ali Nelson ninth, Theo Stegall in 10th, other chasers, Eric and Rage in 14th, Amy Shelley in 16th, Mary Shelley in 20th, Troy King fighting for the owner's chase in 21st. And there you go. Pace car pulls to the left. And the green flag is out. 2 to go here at Zen Joltis. Good restart for Chris Washer. Dylan Thoreau to the outside. I'm not sure I would have done that one. Kyle Collins makes the move on Baskinger. Here comes Stephen Pollard III. A lot on the line for them. They're trying to fight for the owner's title in that 33 car still. Perkle making the move to the outside of Stella. Collins makes the move inside of Perkle. McIntyre inside of the 33, possibly. No, not able to get there. Pollard shuts the door. Stella and Collins with the run, but they're going to fight each other on it. Here comes Stephen Pollard III in the 33 car. Stella makes the move for the lead. McIntyre makes the move on Pollard. Side by side for the lead and side by side for third. So far we're still green. Stella and Washer still side by side for the top spot. Baskinger now inside of McIntyre for third. Here comes the Husqvarna Chevy. They'll see the white flag this time by. Stella with the run off the corner. And white flag is out. We'll race it back. Checkers or wreckers at Zen Joltis as Jay Stella leads at the white. Baskinger now for second on Washer. McIntyre still there pushing the 5 car. Here comes Eric and Rage. Don't rule him out yet. He's back there. He might get a good run. Just a couple of corners left to go. Stella and Washer still side by side for the lead. But Washer lost all of his help. Stella now clear. Baskinger's going to stay low. Eric and Rage is going for third now as it's going to be 4 wide there. Through the final corner. I don't think Baskinger's going to be able to make a move. And it will be Jay Stella who wins at Zen Joltis. as they were 5 wide back here. And we still ended up with, I think, 5 chases in the top 10. Actually, Amy Shelley's going to be scored 13th there. One hell of a shootout there to end this one off. Jay Stella, though, the winner. Jake Baskinger, about 1/10 of a second back in second. Eric Powers, third. Theo Stegall, Eric Enraged, the top chaser. I don't think anyone would have expected that one after the first caution. Chris Washer, Mary Shelley, Levi McIntyre, 4 chasers in the top 8. Dylan Thoreau and Jonathan Zorline, their top 10. Great job for the 25 team. As Baskinger kind of keeps his hopes alive maybe for the top 30. I don't know. We'll have to see where he's at. Amy Shelley, 13th. Stephen Paul III trying to fight for the owner's title, 14th. Troy King down there in 22nd as well, trying to fight out for the owner's title. And then so many drivers out of the race today, unfortunately due to accidents. But either way, that's just kind of the nature of the beast here at Zenjoltis. I'd like to congratulate Jay Stella and the U.S. Army crew for the win today. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't today, as we're getting close to the end of the season, which means sign-ups right around the corner. I'll be announcing that on Facebook, most likely, as well as on Discord. Going to try and remember to link the NRSL Discord in there, so anyone that watches this, make sure to go over to there. Either way, with that, I'll see you next time.